What's up, y'all? This is ASHTON Von Charles. That's VAUGHN. And I got another cover for y'all. But before I get into it, I want to remind you to get your I Still Love Me merchandise. Link is in my bio, my description. Listen to the cover, and I hope you enjoy it.
The vibes are high on Let's Vibe TV. Hey, hey. How y'all doing this Sunday? Sunday, it's a fun day. Hey. I'm so into y'all. So I had to do it. You know the vibes. You know the vibes. Hey, hey. Yo. If y'all like that, I need y'all to do what I'm about to do right now and subscribe to today's guest, their YouTube channel, ASHTON Von Charles. It's going to be a lit, powerful episode we got for y'all today. And this is the lead singer of the Color 8 band, The Activist, the rapper, the saxophonist, the dapper clean. Yo, yo, he only he only more recently stopped rocking the suits. The man, the creative, the visionary, Ashton, Vaughn, Charles.
What's
What's
up with it, man?
what's up, man? How are you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Chilling, enjoying my Sunday, and I just had a fire roast and like
Really?
yeah, some carrots, potatoes, you know what
Mm.
I'm saying, biscuits and gravy.
You
And
making me
so
hungry.
hey, you know the vibes. We gotta eat. We gotta eat. I'm gonna mail you a plate.
So yeah, do that. All right. Yeah, no, I'll get it eventually. I'll just heat it up.
I'm gonna have my bro cook you some shit, and then
I
bring it
see.
over there,
There
or
you go.
Ash Cash, or any of them knuckleheads over. Sheesh, you know how it is. So you are what out of all those things that I called that you do, content creator. I even left off a lot of things that you actually do on that list in that intro, and it was still a super lit intro. What would you consider yourself overall, or like, what would you want to be the main focus?
we Nobody does just one thing. So I don't like to label myself as just one thing. If I wear many hats, then I wear many hats and I wear each one individually when I need to. But there's not necessarily even, I don't even like to call them hats because they are all put together what makes me who I am.
For
And
sure.
so those labels for me personally, I don't really care about.
Okay. I mean, it's tough because marketing and everything is set up
Hmm.
to be like,
Hmm.
label yourself. And it's like,
Yeah.
bro, I'm me. It does like you're gonna see textures and flavors with
Yeah.
whatever I'm creating, whether it's the
Hmm.
show, whether it's some music, whatever it could possibly be. So I feel that
Yeah.
on a heavy level. I guess at times there's things I want you to focus on that
Hmm.
I'm doing more so than others,
That's exactly it.
for sure. So, right now in your life, what would you say artistically has been your main focus?
Mm. Artistically, right now, what I'm doing is it's all rooted in fighting for liberation. Um, that can be, honestly, it could go along the lines of when you talk about activism and trying to speak for those who, not necessarily speak for those who don't have a voice, but to remind those who do have a voice to listen to those who don't. Um, but it can be as far as that. It could also be in a way that me and my band, we literally do what we can to fight against uh, the whole labeling of, like, categorizing things that don't necessarily need to be categorized. And
And that's
you
been
know,
your guys'
yeah,
mission for long, for
it has.
since the name was the color 8.
Yeah,
Basically,
you
you're
know,
unorthodox when you put it in that perspective from the start. So
yeah.
I feel that entirely. Well, so with everything going on right now
Mm.
socially, it's pretty crazy right now.
It is.
I find your focus seems to be on the color element.
Mhm.
Like, black people. Why
Mhm.
does that seem to be the main focus, do you think? Or why is that being picked to be held on to? Because for me, I feel like it's an economic thing going
Mhm.
on more so than anything. And actually, you said something interesting to begin with about it when you talked about it seemed like you were kind of struggling with saying that Black people are voiceless. And I have a hard time with that too. And it makes it kind of awkward for me because I do feel like it's about time with all these white people standing up for Black people. And like, but also it's almost slightly insulting to me, them standing up, but it almost double emphasizes the point of how sad it is that we need them to speak up to be heard.
That's the problem. We the reason the reason you heard any kind of struggle in me saying that Black people are voiceless is because we're not voiceless. People who have been at the top of a system of oppression have been refusing to listen to us or to do anything for us that would actually not just give us equality, but just to give us freedom. Because not like when it comes to equality, yeah, we can be on equal playing grounds, and that's, of course, initially we think that's what we want, but in reality, we want liberation and freedom, not just us, but there's a lot of white people who are not really free from the system that exploits us. Like how you said, it's an economic problem. It very much is as well. And a lot of that intertwined within that is a colorism problem. Mm-hmm. And all across the world, not just here, right? Here we have our own forms of it, but all across the world, those of darker skin complexions are seen as lesser valued than those of lighter skin complexions. In not every, but many cultures have this problem. And it does have an impact on just societally, like economically specifically, it has a very big impact. It's a classism issue. All of it is stemmed from elitism, because if there's a way you can see somebody else and dim them down and put their value lower than what you at because you want to be above whoever, then by that logic you'll do whatever. Like a lot of people have done what they can to make our resources heavier for those of us in power, I guess.
And here comes into play, right hand in hand with that, with making people look bad. It's funny. They say all these poor people in these areas are criminals. But the thing is, the higher you're paying on taxes, the less policed you're going to be. It's how they thank you. And it comes with what you're paying for your property. And so it's way easier if I have neighbors all around me in this apartment to hear me arguing, fighting, breaking the law. There's more cop activity. It's way easier to catch people in these areas because they're jammed into a smaller space. Do they look worse than the people with all this extra space to commit crimes?
Yeah. Crime happens based on proximity. That's why when people talk about what about Black on Black crime, that's literally just crime. Just as white on white crime is, or just as any crime is. However, the race crimes come in when you are committing a crime against somebody solely because they are the race that they are. Mm-hmm. That's a very different story. So I agree.
Well, and speaking of Black on Black crime, I need to say this on the record right now about them pretending that Black people don't care about Black on Black crime. Every Black community, no matter big or small, has a YMCA, YWCA that highly hyper focuses on issues such as Black on Black crime, gang activity, and what is going on those streets, whether it's the drugs. It's literally placed in those areas to circumvent all of those things.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right.
and just because and so like yeah, you were being kind of nice when you brought up the black on black issue, because their focus is on why don't they ever talk about it, not even what you were saying in the existence of it, because just like what you said, they can't compare the two then. And so because it's even. Why would we bring that up? What they can bring up is black people's focus on it versus the blaming white people for the deaths of blacks. But in every black community, there is heavy anti all that kind of stuff going on, and community leaders who talk about it frequently with the kids, the adults, everybody. Just because it doesn't get listened to, or it still exists, does not mean that people do not care. There's plenty of music, art, all the way around about it.
You see that right there. It's a lot of the music that we make is literally directly talking about this stuff, you know. And unfortunately, if you also think about it, like a lot of the music that gets really big is because those in power to control what music gets big choose to push the music that will perpetuate that type of abuse within our communities.
Yeah.
And there's going to be that, like by proximity, every community will have crime, every one of them, right? By proximity, you know, if there's limited resources, which we've been limited on for ever since we've got our freedom, right? And I say that with quotation marks, and you know why. But ever since we got our freedom, we've had limited resources to confine spaces. And anytime that we actually overcame all that and created our own space that was successful, it was torn down, and people were literally killed for this, on like mass murders and everything. And everything was just been. I just found out about that Central Park used to be a black community. I had no idea, and they bulldozed it to create Central Park. That's crazy. But the fact is, this all comes down to, like how you said, what's up?
Even the and a lot of people miss that the poverty was forced on in a lot of different ways, from suburbs being burnt down, black businesses being burnt down, and lack of prosecution for when these things were taking place and happening. Nobody was getting arrested. Nobody was getting in trouble. And black people were not getting proper compensation when these things were happening to keep them right where they were.
Exactly.
And marginalized.
That's
and these covered
the purpose
up,
of it.
Denied. Yeah. Yep.
The purpose of the system that we have is to keep those in power in power. That's the purpose of it. And that's the problem. Because
sometimes I have a tough time blaming, because, and even because it's almost like, okay, like white people are getting all this shame for conquering land the same way it's been done as long as time. And that is where the real, of course, it's a little bit, hold on, wait. Slavery, mass murdering, a lot of very diabolical schemes built the world around us. And a lot of them from Napoleon, and we can go back and back and back and back and back and back to biblical times where land was conquered, and war has always been perceived as a necessary evil, and taking over people has been perceived as a necessary evil of the world. It's almost like a get them before they get you mentality. And so it, like, once again, I feel like we're kind of we're trying to talk about what the real issue is, but I mean, and it's being perpetuated. There's lying now on both sides. It's almost like the Democrats and the liberals have literally sunk to Republicans' level. And then the Republicans just sink even lower to combat it. And it seems like a sinking hole. But even politics as a whole is made up on lying about people, creating confusion about the perception of people. They invest almost 50% of the money into running ads to destroy somebody.
Yeah. It's lightweight propaganda. Well, heavyweight, really. And
heavy.
As far as how colonization has been for centuries and millennia, typically that's what happened. That's what happened in history. If a group or a society or whatever finds a new land, they do what they can to overcome it, overtake it, and they colonize by rape and pillaging and all that stuff. That's really what's happened. Genocidal, all that stuff. However, the thing here, the reason I was almost going to stop you earlier is not because you were wrong, because that's exactly how it's been done.
Okay.
I'm not going to speak on which groups have been known to do so more so than anybody else, because a lot of groups have, but like why are certain people called colonizers, right? But it's we a lot of our ancestors have done this, though. You know what I mean? Some were on the better end, and some got the shorter end of the stick. The fact is, if we're such a mature society now, if we are so beyond that, then why is it so hard for people to understand that there are privileges that some people will have because their ancestors were the ones who did such horrible things? And it's I think it's really important to understand that we're not even asking for revenge. We're just asking for peace. But because if we were really trying to get revenge, then it would be a real war, like a real war. But we're here trying to figure out how to create peace.
Look, it is a real war. It's turning into one for sure. Them protesters are bringing their shields, and things to counteract the spray. Like I'm watching the live, I'm seeing it, and they're staying 7 hours after the city is closed. Like they're coming prepared for battle. Like through and through. There's no joke, there's no mistaking it. And it's really interesting because the cops are sitting there and they're using their tactics and their bullhorns, and they're like, clear the city, we have curfew, knowing damn well them people who came don't give a flying fuck about none of that shit.
See, a lot of the protests, if not all of them, have been peaceful. And if we as people, and I don't mean we as just Black people, I mean we as anybody who is protesting the government that is corrupted.
You can say that they're peaceful.
Listen, if we come, and I was there. I was at these protests. Like if we go to one and we're peaceful and everybody's chilling, I mean, granted, of course, there's going to be tension, you know what I mean? But for the most part, if we go to one, usually from what I've seen, and aside from just media, from what I've seen in person and from what I've seen on actual real media, not the media that's like shown on TV. I mean, the media of those that we know are actually out there. Honestly, we're not the aggressors. We're not, we are absolutely using our voices, but a lot of us who are protesting are not even being aggressive. We are protesting.
They should be.
I think we have every right to be,
and they
but
should
I don't
be,
think that
and
it's
they
always
should
the
be
right.
aggressive every night. Every night.
See,
until
we're not violently aggressive, is what I mean.
They should be assertive and standing firm. When people are doing what they're doing, and that's the problem, and they're still not getting it, you almost have to give them a taste of their own medicine.
Mm-hmm. I agree to a certain extent. I do.
Because they don't understand what they're doing. And even I mean, they leave us weak and weaponless while showing us that the only way to solve anything is through violence.
It's not that they don't
Aggressive means.
understand.
This
It's
is
not that they don't
people.
understand, because they do understand. They
Wait,
just don't
who
prioritize.
who doesn't understand though? Because what I'm referring to is
Mm-hmm.
the people watching
Mm-hmm.
and the people making the calls. I feel like don't. There's a lot of people watching, and
Mm-hmm.
it's these ideas that are in their head. And where I
Mm-hmm.
say there's this lack of understanding is when the way that Georgia broke down the killing of Rashard Brooks
Mm-hmm.
so vividly, where the officer spit on the man,
Mm-hmm.
him and his buddy kicked him while he was down,
Mm-hmm.
the language that was used,
Yeah.
it had never been presented in that kind of light. And people still sat right here on this show that
Mm-hmm.
night. Somehow it was crazy. We ended up with nothing but cops and Republicans. Episode, something about the way I named it in the algorithms, it like
Yeah.
popped up right on the front. So like,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, and they berated me about it. And I pulled it up, I showed them, and they're still not understanding. And it's like, even in the wild, wild west, wanted dead or alive meant something. You
Mm-hmm.
were a badass. If you were a criminal, it was a badge of honor. And for the outside, that meant, damn, you're supposed to kill him on sight? That's
Right.
a bad motherfucker. And it's happening now, willy-nilly, without that perspective at all. And it's like people are missing the kind of technology and means that the cops have to hunt you down and get your ass. Without
Mm-hmm.
that, with letting you drive away, with letting you run away. They know your address. They know your family's address. They know
Mm-hmm.
where you work at. They know your number one spot to chill.
They do. I really, the thing is, people have already committed their morals to a personal truth as opposed to an objective truth. That's all.
How can we change that? How? Because as long as that is the case, and if we can't figure out how to raise our generations in a fact-based truth through all communities, because
Mm-hmm.
it's really interesting. Even like with not with there being songs like, you know, from I was listening to Nas Moment of Silence,
Mm-hmm.
which is such a powerful song. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Uh and like there's songs about supporting the cops that are just as passionate. And guess what? Both are human beings who
Yeah,
deserve love and compassion. So,
I agree.
um, how can we bring that understanding that Nas can be right, Toby Keith can be right, like, and where we can operate on love as
Both sides have to be willing to listen. Listening is the most important tool Like your ears are the most important tool that you can use when communicating with anybody, because if you can listen to somebody, then that's the first step into understanding that other person. I know that for me, the reason this whole thing is so frustrating is because people who are on the privileged side of a system of oppression are typically a lot more difficult to get to even hear those who aren't. Let alone, like, that's why, like, without getting into the politics of Black Lives Matter, like, that's why that statement it hits a nerve for so many people, because they're not hearing the statement. They are just hearing, like, oh, so you saying ours don't? And it's like, why do we have to keep saying that? Because it's been very obvious that
Well,
you guys, like those who are in the on the privileged side of oppression, their lives are being shown to actually matter, and ours have been shown to not. So now we are saying, hey, ours do, and it's not that they do now; they always have. But now we are making sure that you know. And yet, those who are hearing it, they're not hearing nothing but what they want to hear, because they've already committed to this personal truth, which might not be objectively true.
I mean, okay. So now the foundation Black Lives Matter, I feel like at first it gave it a lot of steam. And just like what you said, you literally had to say, unfortunately, set the politics or the foundation aside. How can we do that? Because even I don't like Black Lives Matter, the foundation. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like that they think that they're like I don't like the way people are reacting to what it is, or like how they, I don't know. I don't like the confusion on who's leading and what they actually stand for, and how even some of the smallest things about it, like defunding the police, is being highlighted. Like there's a lot of mix up around it, where the money is going to, you know. I just know that from the second I heard the term, it's a real thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't, I don't look up the policy. I don't care about the foundation. I don't want to, because it will distract me from what's going on. But I do care about what's going on actually, and that they got the ball rolling. And I care about this statement and this sentiment. But instantly, when these conversations start, you're associated to a foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not cool.
You see, that's the thing right there. I say it very explicitly in many cases, because the statement itself is a very powerful statement. But just as anything that starts to get traction, just as anything in history that gets traction in media, it'll be hijacked for politics. It just will. I'm very grateful for what the organization has done, for what the Black Lives Matter organization has done. I'm grateful for how they started things and how they, but eventually, like they have their own, goals here. And, if you create an organization, then you're going to like lead people in the direction that you want to go to. That's going to happen with almost any organization that is led by many of those who share the same belief system. But the fact is, I state very clearly that when I say Black Lives Matter, when most of us say that, it's an actual statement. It is a phrase. It is a sentence. I matter. I am here. I'm right
Every
here with
time I
you.
use it, unless I'm explicitly talking about the foundation, just like what you said. Yes. Thank you.
It's
I'm
but
so glad.
it's all divisive. It's all like when things are
So
hijacked for politics, it's all divisive. Um, I'm not going to get into too deep into that side of things, but a lot of
why
what is
not?
done, a lot of what is done is with intention of keeping us separated here, so that way those in power can stay right where they are. Because as we've all heard this from a lot of different people, that us coming together is the main weakness of those in power anywhere, because those in power are in power because of those they govern.
Well, and even I think a lot of people miss or what Malcolm X was doing near the end of his life goes over a lot of people's heads. Because he was getting black people from everywhere and creating a global like, all right, there ain't enough black people in America. Let's take this shit everywhere. And he was doing an amazing, unprocessable job of doing that and really unifying and using the term African American against America. All right, let's go build that bridge that you used to separate us.
For real.
Woo!
That's exactly what, like, think about the records that were set this year in the protests. That was worldwide.
Yeah.
Literally record-breaking protests. And it's thanks a lot to how media has evolved, because, you know, we can see somebody across the world in a heartbeat with our phones. You know what I mean? Like how you're in Georgia. You know what I mean? I'm in Arizona, and we're right here on the phone.
I'm in Illinois. Right.
Oh, you're in Illinois. I'm sorry. I thought my bad.
I mean, I still live in Georgia. Yes, but I'm like, I'm in Illinois at the moment. But even the luxury of still being able to do my show, regardless of where I'm at.
Yeah. That's the very reason why a lot of things were able to go so global, because, I mean, this stuff is not new. This stuff has been happening is not new. It's being filmed, and those who have been taking part in it, or who have been fine with it, or whatever, or maybe even those who genuinely don't like it, but like they've been able to turn a blind eye to it because it wasn't right in their backyard. It wasn't being shown to them in the media and stuff, and now it's being shown to people. And a lot of people don't want to believe that these police officers are doing bad things, because all their faith rests in them. And when you see somebody that you have all your faith in do something that is not good based on your morals, if you're following a political truth, which is still not an objective truth, then you're going to follow in the direction of whomever you happen to like, even if they go in a direction that's against your morals. You will more likely, not you directly, but most people will more than likely shift their morals to fit the person that they felt like they should follow. And that's how Hitler got people. That's exactly how Hitler did it. You know, like he would play on the morals of those who already were a little bit, you know, a little on that side of things of elitism, you know, and that system of oppression or whatever. And he would play on that, and then he would shift people to, like, you know, bring that side out of people on a mass level.
Michael Jordan said it best. If you want to dominate anything, you have to strip it of all its confidence. From the GOAT himself. Whoa. Yo.
For real.
On a lighter note, have you been watching the playoffs?
I don't even watch sports. You know, it's funny, when I met Zach, he came to one of our shows, and we didn't even notice him until we got done. He came up to me and he was like, "Yo, y'all dope." And I was like, "Thank you." He's like, "Y'all play ball?" And I'm like, "I don't, but they do. So, you know, you can go talk to them, you know." But I'm not even a sports person, you know?
Yeah, I'm not really either, but I mean, I guess I have been in my life. I'm a little bit of an everything person.
Yeah.
I don't draw too hard on to anything, but like, if something's exciting at that time, why not? I don't like.
I feel that,
I don't
especially
like
with quarantine.
Oh yeah. I mean, how has that been for you?
It's for me, I mean, it was very beautiful. It was very difficult for a while, but not just because I was by myself. It's because of like my job that I was working. I got laid off, and it made things very difficult. So I mean, I'm working again, which I'm grateful for. But other than that, it was very powerfully and like not. There was a lot that happened. It was transcendentally progressive. It was like there was a lot of growth here, and uh, uh, it's very bittersweet, but a lot of the records that have been broken about protests and a lot of the action that's being taken in regards to the killings of people by the hands of police and any systems of power or any people that the systems of power have placed to protect us. Um, a lot of that has come to light now because of our ability to be able to focus on it based on this quarantine.
And to have
Um,
time, yeah.
yeah, the time made a big difference. Think about it. A lot of those protests were all day, and that's because a lot of people weren't working. you know, um, and also it brought about me creating the project with all the people here in Arizona, and I was grateful to be able to be the catalyst for that, to be the conduit for all these voices. So for me, it's been very beautifully blessing and very difficult, but yes, absolutely a blessing.
For sure, for sure. Shout out to anybody going through it over COVID and anybody who
Hmm.
knows anybody who has it, anybody who has it. Um, so right now, you have an upcoming project
Hmm.
involving social justice,
Yes.
and what's it called? Tell the people about it a little bit.
It's called SKU, SKU. It's like the barcode. It's a number associated with the barcodes that you see on anything you buy in grocery stores or gas stations or clothing stores or anywhere, anything. It's called SKU, and it's also an initialism for the statement "Stop killing us." And the parallel there is that a lot of us who are on the oppressed side of any system of oppression are still seen as property, as less than human, as having a low value, something that is essentially can be purchased, to a certain degree, and uh, that parallel is something that um, I wanted to utilize as a tool to not reel in, but like to give the artists on this project something like a place to start if they want to speak their mind, because us as artists, it's our um, we would do like it would be a disservice for us not to speak, because us as artists, it is our duty to document history from the perspective of those living it and not from the perspective of those tasked with documenting it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just like
because those tasked with documenting it, they're going to tell the story that those in power want to be told. But we as artists, we're going to tell the real story of what happened here on the streets.
yeah. I mean, for sure. It is important to stand up. It is interesting. We do need to use our voice more, but it's such a delicate thing because even as an artist, a lot of times I have a hard time speaking on things because I am not a uh, I'm not a professional at that. I'm a professional musician. I'm able to express myself, but there's also a lot of power that comes with that and a lot of weight that comes with that. And
Yeah.
saying the right thing and being professional about your response. And
Hmm.
even with an audience like what my brother has created,
Hmm.
they're very Republican and
Hmm.
white.
Hmm.
And so it's like going against the grain on a lot of levels. And
Hmm.
it's I mean, and also I mean I'm not picking one side in this. There's a lot. I mean, it sucks that marketing is formulated to be so biased, but I don't know. It's really tough to speak on things with all of that. But I also do think it's really important to be able to express yourself.
I do.
And because people have been quiet for too long, and that's how hearts have been able to stay hard for so long, and power has been able to stay where it's at. It's mind blowing. I couldn't imagine how many times they've sat there and been like, yo, we're gonna run this play. We might not get away with it. And like,
Mm-hmm.
high
Mm-hmm.
risk equals high reward. Psh,
Mm-hmm. You're
boom!
right.
Through the
You're right
roof.
though.
Through the roof. And they don't learn their lesson. And then they're like, let's get more brazen. Let's get more, like, I don't know. Life is so weird. Even now, the way that you can step outside and see the news the second you step outside of your house
Mm-hmm.
and what they're talking about is a little bit creepy to me when that used to be such a foreign thing.
Yeah.
And with the rise of reality TV along with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we're seeing protest on TV. No, your shop just might
Mm-hmm.
get, you know what I'm saying? Might get tossed up. Like, it's really.
You know, about that, it's really unfortunate um, when those economic casualties happen. You know, when like certain shops like have like get caught in the crossfire of these things, whatever. Um, I think there's two things important here to note that both simultaneously are true. One is that a lot of those who are really protesting aren't really worried about the shops. It's the people who are like, just coming just to destroy shit that are really doing that. And two, if there's a system that values economic, the economic structure that they currently have over human life, then even if we wanted to destroy a lot of these stores and shops and everything, that's
Well,
valid. If they're trying to fight that.
well, and
You know what I
there's
mean?
two separate. I think a lot of people are missing the two separate entities that are battling. Because, like what you said, there's the day protesters. I feel who okay, like, and where I've seen where I know the community, it's literally two separate sides. There's the day protesters, which of course they get frustrated because it's kind of like with the peaceful protesters that the powers that be are like, all right, kumbaya, then get the fuck out of here, you know,
Mhm.
and that's so lame and so like been going on over and over again for so long.
Yeah.
And it's a nice, this is where they get frustrated. They'll be like, yo, will somebody of power come out here?
Yeah.
Will somebody actually come speak with us?
Hmm.
And then when the people are getting ran over by crazy people and stuff like that, it gets a little hectic out there. But then there's a whole separate Antifa, whatever they're being called, which is lame as fuck because it's not like Antifa or even Black Lives Matters necessarily could be, or even the NAACP even could be facilitating everything that's going on knowledgeably.
Hmm.
A lot of
You
people
can't
under the
you
name
can't put too much control over a protest though. Not too
exact
much. That's the point.
exactly.
You know.
But they meet up at night. I saw it. These set of people, which I'm not going to name, but I seen them, I knew who they were, would meet up at night and do what they do. And then they'd be the day protesters. Hell no, the people looting and up all night till 3 a.m., 4 a.m., destroying shit aren't the day protesters. Niggas need sleep.
Most of them aren't even real protesters. The ones that are looting and stuff. Most of them are not. there's literally footage, and there's literally like some famous people from YouTube who were shown looting shit here for no reason other than the fact that they just can.
Of course, there's a lot of that going on, but you can't say that there's not legitimate, like, ready to battle protesters.
Of course,
Like,
there are.
because there is, and there's a lot of them, and that's why they're coming with shields, and they're throwing.
Yeah, they come prepared to defend themselves.
Yeah,
that is correct.
Yes, and they're throwing Molotovs at the cops and all that kind of stuff.
I've seen some of that stuff.
Oh,
not all of that, but most of that.
I don't want you to think.
I'm telling you.
I really want you.
I'm telling you.
Yo,
what's up? I'm listening.
I want you to understand. I'm not picking a side, and I agree with what you're saying. I feel like you've chosen a side, which I am completely. I'm completely for, like, and I get it. There's a lot of people who just want to be like, oh no, it's kumbaya. Like, you don't, it shouldn't be kumbaya. It's been ineffective. We're finally getting results. And I think if it takes 1,000 days, we should be out there talking about it, living it, and breathing it for 1,000 days. That's how my passion flows about anything that I'm passionate about. And I've always been the only one with that kind of passion. The first to strike, just there. Anytime. I don't even got to say it. I'm going to shut the fuck up about it. But my passion is shine through always. And so I just question the heart. I want to see, but I'm seeing a lot of heart. I'm seeing a lot of it lose steam, but I'm seeing a consistent heartbeat. Portland, I'm seeing a real passion being lit, and I respect that. And I'm seeing them do what they need to do. Shoot, at first it's like a mess. It's like, yo, if y'all are going to be like this, get organized. There is organizing. There's a lot of organizing taking place. They're being scared by the organization that's taken place, and the community of it, and the strength being shown. They're literally scared. They're doing anything. Yeah. They're calling the Russians in. Yo, we need collusion. Crank it up times 3,000, please. They're calling the best in the business. Please, the Democrats are finally acting as nasty and despicable as we are. We need help.
Yo, my sound messed up. I gotta get off and come back in. Is that okay?
For sure.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave and come back.
For sure. Yo, y'all watching at home, how do you feel? What's going on? He's about to be right back. Yo, I want to shout out the Color 8 band. I'm actually, you know what? If y'all saw Cal the Thought Slayer, he is also a member of the Color 8 band. They have toured with Futuristic Beef. He's working on a project called Stop Killing Us that will be releasing soon. There's a couple copyright things, I believe, going on, but it's a powerful project, and it'll be coming out soon. Of course, I don't gotta agree with everything to promote it or to show it love or to give its to discuss its ideas. So,
still,
can you hear me?
I wonder what's wrong with it.
Oh, you haven't? You're still having trouble?
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna try one more time.
Okay. Yo. But he's a saxophonist, a rapper. He does many different things. I like this camera. Woo! My head all shiny. I'm sure y'all want to rub it watching it for good luck. But we're here, season 3, and as you see his Instagram right below, we showed his dope cover to start off the show. We're gonna be getting into music. When he comes back, and we'll talk about his inspirations. I think I'm gonna run a music video of his, of the Color 8 band, or let me see. I'll play the episode of the show, the content show, real quick. Hold on now.
Playing Jenga on the content show.
Content show. Jeremy said that was some swag. He said.
All right, who goes first? Not Jeremy.
I was like, girls than you. Playing expert, like he on X game. Hey, y'all, do y'all do that thing like the first one you touch, you gotta pull out?
I don't mind. You said yeah or no? So
I agree with that. We should
Yeah, do it.
That's just it.
I'm just asking.
he said chill. I'm just asking.
Wait, so if we touch it, we have to take it?
You what? That's stupid.
You get one touch.
Yeah, do one touch.
See? See what I'm gonna do with this one? See? I can't do that with this. Round 2.
Time extended. All right. Round 2. What was that? I'm not even touching it. How though?
What's
Go ahead.
That's
That's
good.
it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't know how you even caught that. I would not have caught that.
This is getting intense, guys.
Oh,
Bitch.
Wait, the bro?
Patient, you know.
You gotta put it back up first.
Hold up.
There it is.
Now it's up to Jeremy.
How do y'all just be finding it? I'm kind of reckless with it.
You gotta have an eye for it.
You got it.
No, you don't. You're not first, you're last.
You win some, you lose some. You live. You live to fight another day.
And so is this whole episode, is this,
Yeah, I'm about to lose this right now.
I'm on the show, bro. Is this whole episode, you guys playing this match of Jenga?
Yeah, that's what this episode is.
That's a great concept. Who came up with it?
Take your time.
I think it might have been. We were all just thinking of games to play. I don't remember who thought of that game though. I don't remember.
I gotta see who wins now.
I could tell you. I think. Well, I'm not gonna say it. Yeah.
Yeah, don't ruin it.
I hope you break your finger.
Oh, bro, you really could do that?
Yeah.
I'm never playing Jenga with you.
I'm not as smooth as they are. So I just.
That was pretty fancy, bro.
Jobs up to germ.
Who edits these?
Make the game fair.
I think it depends on who wants to get time. But we also have somebody named Ira, and she's amazing. She edits some of our videos and films
I
them
said
too.
what? What?
Get me in contact with him.
Yeah, I can do that for you.
Damn it, Cal! Cal would.
It was the fan. The fan
Yeah.
was too high. And that's a really well. That's try it.
I should have known.
So then next week where we
Wrestle another day. All right,
Oh
y'all.
my
That was
gosh.
the show.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, we
I
just be doing
should've-
stuff.
Yeah, that was all suspenseful for me to already know who is gonna freaking ruin it for everybody. That was an absolute given. It's funny. He's more the diva of the group. He's more the lead singer personality type. Even with your dapper appearance, there's a humility in the dapperness.
Well, yeah, because humility is what, like, we're all human, and I don't see myself as better or worse than anybody else because I am no less God than you are, you know?
So, so we can talk about. Let's talk about the upbringing, the humility, the music. Where were you from initially, and where did the core of you come from?
I was born in California, in San Bernardino, California. My family, it was just my mom, you know, and my sisters. We left California when I was 7, went to Vegas, came here when I was 14, and I've been here ever since then in Phoenix, Arizona. I got into music by accident, actually. It was 6th grade. I missed the first few days of school in 6th grade, the first days of middle school, because of my asthma. And when I went there were no electives left. So they just threw me in band and handed me a clarinet and were like, play this. And I'm like, okay, you know, so I just did it. And I don't know, I picked up the saxophone a year later, and I just kind of stuck with it, you know, because I didn't really find music, but it found me, you know, and very beautifully so even, because you really like I literally quit music in college because I was naturally good at it through middle school and high school. I was in like state band and everything, you know.
So you were a part of the school band?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was a little nerd, little high school, little band nerd. That was me. But as I got into college, like, cause I learned that
what kind
how
of
I was getting by.
were you into?
Oh, like just to play, like we did, like, you know, of course, classical stuff for band, and then I was in jazz band.
Oh, okay. I mean, were you into that kind of stuff personally? Would you?
Oh, growing up, I was really sheltered. I was really sheltered when it came to music. My uncles were like West Coast gangster kind of people, you know, but my mom didn't want me listening to too much of that kind of stuff because she didn't want it to be like a bad influence.
So susceptible being in those areas. Yeah, for sure.
But I still ended up listening to enough of it when my uncles were around, you know, because I really enjoyed it. And I also knew I was able to use my own discernment to know what's okay and what's not, you know. But yeah, like I love the feel of West Coast hip hop, you know, the gangster hip hop and shit like that. But like I was into it, but primarily when I would be at home, my mom would like play classical music and stuff, and you know, her own, like, she played Phantom of the Opera a lot, and you know, a lot of different things. Yeah, that was the main thing that we watched and listened to a lot. When the movie came out with Gerard Butler and everything, like we all went to the movie theater to watch it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was. I was really sheltered when it came to that kind of, like, I was allowed to do things, but you know, I wasn't allowed to listen to certain kinds of music too much.
I mean, sounds like such a strong woman. And,
yeah, she was breaking cycles.
And Woo! At all costs. That's crazy.
Mhm.
That's deep.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, she
But
just made my heart melt for a little bit.
yeah. See, I'm glad that she did what she did. And I'm also grateful that my uncles were still doing their best to be the best kind of male figures in my life too. But yeah, so
Didn't
like,
start rapping till after college then too as well? Or like were you rapping in middle school and stuff like that?
Hold on.
Did my
This keeps
sound go
happening
out
because
again?
what happens is people keep calling me, and when I ignore the call, it disconnects my audio. Hold on. There we go. There we go.
can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, can you hear me?
There we go. I figured out how to fix it better.
Okay,
Cool.
good. And fix it
All right.
quick as well.
Yes.
So,
So what were you saying?
so when did you start rapping? Then
I didn't
in the
start
fray of all
rapping.
this.
I didn't start rapping. Like my first time ever writing a rap at all, I was like a freshman in college, and it was just for fun because my boy, he had his dad who was like he made music sometimes, and he just had stuff at the house like microphone and some speakers, and my boy found like a program and he used it. I think it was called Mixcraft is what it was, and we'd be in there, play the music on the speakers, and try to record at the same time. I remember because we had like a microphone stand with a Rock Band microphone, and we had a pasta strainer as the pop filter, and it was hanging from the ceiling. it was so ridiculous. But I wrote a rap just for fun with them, and we would listen to it and bounce it out, and then go to the car that I was driving, go to my car, and we would like plug it into the how you put the tape into the tape player, but it had little MP3 aux cord or whatever, you know what I mean, to come out of it. We'd use that and we'd play it in the car and we'd be like, yo, that's us on the radio. We wasn't really, but still. And it was fun though, but I didn't start seriously rapping until about 6 years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And that's about a year before I met the band. So I had just started around that time. Started being serious anyway.
Do you think you rap better than me? No, I'm just messing with you. Something.
I swear,
Something
man, rappers,
about
man.
how long.
No, I'm saying.
I know. No, really though. Literally, what you said about how long you've been rapping was triggersome to me as a devout full life rapper. So it's like I feel like I need to challenge this man. I hate it. I just want to.
You're not the only person.
For sure.
Yeah, I promise you're not the only person. I've always just.
Would you ever go? Do you feel confident enough to go toe to toe with Futuristic in a rap battle?
I don't like rap battles when it comes to like freestyle stuff anyway. Even if I was to
You
win
don't got
one
a
or whatever.
freestyle. Do you think you can look? Okay, bottom line. Do you think you can go bar for bar with Futuristic?
I think Futuristic is dope as hell, and I do think that I can hang with him. Yes, I absolutely know that.
You said so. Basically, what we're getting here is
They ain't no basically. I said what I said. I said that I think that he's dope, and I know that I can rap with him. I absolutely know that.
But you can't play sax, which
Shout out to Futuristic, man. He is super creative too. He is, but yeah.
For sure.
He's trying to start some shit. That's what you're trying to do.
I just want to see a rap battle.
Uh-huh.
I gotta get ratings.
It's all love, though.
No, I'm joking. But
yeah, it's definitely love, though. I like the way he raps, and I like his creativity a lot. He's really unique.
For sure. I mean, so is the Color 8 band. So I guess
thank you.
It's a unique combination. And so are you as an individuality, as an individual.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, okay, let's get into where Dapper came into play. Because although you're not necessarily, you're very homey right now, you're typically suited up.
Yes, I am. So
yeah, let's get into that.
basically, I remember being like a little kid, and my mom would just be in like overalls and like dress shoes and a bow tie and stuff. You know, just little stuff like that. I was little though, you know. But
Yeah.
as I got older, like I always enjoyed the way like even suits or just dressing nicely looked. But I didn't really care too much about it. I enjoyed it, but I didn't care too much about it. I got older, and like about high school, like sophomore year of high school, I started caring more about what I dressed like, because I liked the way it was just a form of expression. Other people will experience me in like even if it's in a shallow sense because it's just their eyes that are experiencing that. But other people experience me and they'll see some of my expression through by way of my my clothing. How I dress, how I put things together, my just designing things or whatever, like or styling things. I'll say. I started wearing suits more after I started working at a clothing store that sold them. But the thing is, they were never my size, but I had to wear that kind of stuff though, so I had to find a place that was selling my size. And I enjoyed putting the combinations with the ties and the designs and matching the shoes with the belt and, putting like making sure the color of the shirt intertwines with the color of the suit and the tie together. And it's just, I enjoy that stuff. But ever since then, I just decided to, because I always liked it, so I decided to start wearing them more, and more became daily. So I usually am always in a suit, but also within the past couple years or few years, I grew to a space where like I will more than likely be in a suit when you meet me, but I also might go out like this, and I don't care because I don't do it for anybody else. I do it for me.
Yeah, why did you care so much then? Or how? What did you? Where did it? Because was it an issue to you, or did you feel like you were masking who you were, or why'd you start
Here's what
drawing
it was.
back a little bit?
Here's what it was. I never drew back because I still wore suits like every day, and I still basically do, But the thing is, because I just already did it, then it became my image. I didn't create the image to get where I am. I just already was like that, and then it became my image. But then when it became my image, I was thinking, okay, well, I guess I gotta wear a suit all the time. Like now I have to,
And it's
I mean,
no
I already
fun
do,
when
but that's
you have to. Yeah.
exactly. So, but then eventually I got to a space where I'm like, I don't have to. I don't have to do shit, Like you gonna see me, you gonna see Ashton, and yeah, I could be recognizable by a suit. I understand that, and I'll accept that. I'm okay with that. However, you might also see me in some pajama pants, like some plaid pajama pants and a tank top. It could happen. You never know, But yes, I am known here anyway as like for
Y'all
dapper and
heard
stuff.
that? Stay on the lookout for my mans and the plaid PJs and the. Y'all know the vibes. The vibes are high here on Let's Vibe TV. So, well, it was a pleasure having you. We could clearly talk forever about all these different things.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna add. You know what? I'm gonna start. There's a question. I'm gonna have you be the first person I ask this question to, and I'm gonna be asking every guest at the end of the show this question: what percentage of our life should be devoted to charity?
Okay, I'm trying to give a simple answer. Okay. I'm gonna give a short and complicated answer, then I'm gonna give the simple answer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm gonna reverse it. Simple answer first, then short and complicated answer second. Okay. Simple answer is, honestly, if it was like if we all did like 10% or even less, we'd be fine. If you did 5%, we would be fine. Now, short and complicated answer. The reason I say this is because if literally everybody actually did this, then we would no longer need it. We would no longer need to because everybody would be helped. The problem is, it's not that people aren't giving enough. It's that not enough people are giving.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not because like even with what you I mean, of course it made sense because it's kind of like, I mean, well, eventually if everybody was spending all this time doing charity, The people doing charity would be getting charity.
Yeah, if we all actually acted as a global society,
Yeah.
if every person on Earth gave the equivalent to $1 to every charity, then there would be no more charities because none of them would need it.
Facts.
Mhm.
All
That's
right.
it.
Well, I've been getting a variety of interesting answers when I ask that. It's just like,
Yeah,
I just want to live a charitable life, I feel like.
yeah, yeah.
So, and
How
there's so
now
many
that was monetary. I want to make sure I clarify. That was monetary, but when it comes to just giving to those around you, those who are humans, you should always give all of you. All of you. All of you should be
because
here to serve.
all of me.
Oh my God. Bye.
All right, so we're here. This is our episode of Let's Vibe TV. Thank you, Ashton Von Charles. Follow the YouTube, follow the Twitter, follow the Instagram. Do whatever you need to. Listen to the Color 8 Band. More to come. I think it's safe to say we out of here. Is there any last things you'd
Later.
like to say? Nope. Oh, go ahead.
Nah, I'm good.
For sure. We out of here.